Welcome and thanks for joining our FTC coding camp today. We are FRC team 9023 Future Martians. We competed in our first ever robotics competition as a rookie team and learned some incredible things about engineering, tech skills, programming, and so much more. We had the amazing opportunity to make it all the way to the World Championships in Houston, Texas, and win the Rookie All-Star Award in our Most of our students on this team have experience with the other FIRST programs, such as FLL and FTC, and have worked our way up to the Future Martians FRC team. Can we have you so we're gonna do introductions. So first in person, so your name, team number, and what you're hoping to learn today.
Hold up. Hi, my name is Angela. Team number, it's not memorized yet, but I can pull it up. And then we're hoping to just learn how the basics of the setup for FTC. And most of us have done school robotics and in middle school I did it.
I know you just came in, but can I have your name?
I'm Lucy.
So I'm one of the coaches on the FRC team, and I'd just like to add that all the members in our FRC team have done FTC for at least a couple of years. So we have a mixture of members from Emerald Bots, Beta Bionics, Alpha Intelligence, and Quantum Edge. So, they've all had good experience and do not hesitate to reach out with any kind of help. And before we start off, I'd just like to add, this is not a two-day thing. Yes, we are going to have a coding camp, but please feel free to reach out to our team anytime you have any questions or any help is needed throughout the season, and they'll all be happy to help. Because like I said, all 18 members in our team have done FTC multiple years. And with that, let's get some introductions from all the FTC members who are attending remotely via Zoom. You can indicate your name, your team number, and what you're trying to gain from this camp. So anyone who wants to go ahead and get started, please unmute and you can introduce yourself.
My name is Andrew Mann. I'm hoping to learn, I think it was 8417, Electric Legends. I'm hoping to learn programming.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else want to go next?
Hi, I'm Kenny. My team number is 18069. I'm from Job Dragons, and I hope to learn programming.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone wanting to go next? Let's also give you a view of the room, not just a speaker. Let's switch that. Anyone wanting to go next? Okay. Again, it's optional if we can all see your name. So if we have any need for sharing screen, if you're in the middle of trying to configure something, you need help, you want to share screen, please let us know. We'll make that happen. And anytime you have questions, please use the chat feature. You can ask any questions you have in chat. We'll answer that. And if it needs an interactive session with your screen shared, then we'll do that. And also, we just want to make sure everyone's aware that this is being recorded. It will be made available to you. We'll have today's made available today, and then tomorrow's in a day or two. And also, all the slides will be made available to you. I think we have a question. Anvita, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Anvita. This is my second year of FTC, and I'm part of SciBots Team 21351. I was just wondering if you guys are going to cover like Roadrunner and how to use it and implement it for like odometry, or is it more of like a introduction for like first year teams?
So we were aiming to mainly do an introductory thing where you get to move motors, servos, and then drivetrains. We do have some TensorFlow, which we covered last time. We'll be happy to touch on Roadrunner if you want, because we have multiple team members who have experience with that. But it'll probably be closer to later in the day tomorrow that we get to Roadrunner. And during some of the breaks, you're welcome to have a one-on-one conversation with a couple of our team members who can talk to you about Roadrunner. So we'll talk about that. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Wait, should I just like come tomorrow and like or should we also come today?
So if you so today we will largely cover the whole connection between GitHub, and we'll talk a little about Git. If you're an experienced team member who has already worked with Android Studio, then you may benefit more from tomorrow. But if you have done block coding and onboard Java and you want to move over to Android Studio this year, then I would certainly suggest staying back for today. Okay. Again, if anyone has
Okay,
questions.
thank you so much.
So if anyone has questions, raise your hand or send a chat message, and we'll get to that immediately. All right, Ira, thank you. And with that, we can start our technical presentation. We have one more in-person attendee here, so we'll get that person's introduction and then proceed.
Oh, now, I'm Maham and I'm on a team with them, and I don't know, this is our first year doing FTC, but I have done 2 years of FRC in the past. But I have programming experience, but I haven't done anything programming related.
Okay, thank you. And firstly, welcome to all of you to our coding camp. And with that, let's get started with the technical part of the presentation. So Arjun, you can go ahead and get started on that.
So the control hub, a quick overview of the control hub. The control hub is the robot's brain, controlling all the motors, sensors, and servos connected to it. The control hub runs the Android x86 operating.
Wait, there's no picture though.
Runs the Android x86 operating system, and it's a common OS used in many phones and other devices. The control hub has 4 DC motor ports, 6 servo ports, 8 I/O ports, an internal IMU, and 4 analog ports. The expansion hub. The expansion hub is a hardware controller add-on to the control hub and contains the same ports as the control hub, allowing for more motors, servos, and other devices to be connected. Before the introduction of the control hub, 2 expansion hubs were used along with an Android OS-based cell phone, which provided the wireless access. With the supply chain issues for the control hubs resolved, we will not be working with the old hardware system. Driver hub. The driver hub is an Android OS-based mobile device designed to interact wirelessly with the control hub. It runs a specialized app called the driver station for interfacing with and configuring the control hub. This app provides several functionalities, including initializing and starting the robot, changing configurations, viewing a camera if one is connected, and viewing logs and errors. The driver hub contains 3 USB-A ports and up to 2 controllers can be plugged in. Prior to the introduction of the driver hub, an Android OS-based cell phone was used to provide the wireless interaction with other Android OS-based cell phone on the robot. We will not be working with this old hardware system as mentioned before. Rev Hardware Client. The Rev Hardware Client is an application that allows you to view and update the control hub and expansion hub. You can plug in your Rev device into your computer and then choose from multiple options, including updating the Rev device's firmware, backing up your device's files, and resetting the device. The control hub operation is the Android OS. The robot controller app will be updated by the FTC SDK version being used in Android Studio. The control hub firmware fixes issues with the electronics. This is the link to the hardware client.
We'll be doing a demo of the Rev hardware client.
So while they're setting up for the demo, we'd just like to add that it is very important that you have the latest version of the operating system as well as firmware running on the control hub and the expansion hub. And this is because when you go to competitions, there's going to be robot inspection. And during robot inspection, they expect that the driver hub, the expansion hub, and the control hub, they all have matching and latest versions of the operating system and firmware. And the way you can ensure that is by using this application, which is made available by Rev, called Rev Hardware Client. So this is the only thing where you really do need a Windows operating system to run that application. For development, for downloading the code, a Mac is perfectly fine. And even a Linux operating system machine is perfectly fine. So, and this is not something that each one of you on the coding team needs to have. If one of you on the team or just your mentor or coach has it, that's really good enough. Because one of you just has to ensure that the, like I said, the firmware and the operating systems are all updated. And then let's see, what else do we want to add regarding this? So for the control hub, you need to connect the battery and then connect the USB-C to the Windows computer where you have this hardware client working. And then for the expansion hub, it is a similar thing, but it's not a USB-C, it's a it's a mini USB for the expansion hub. Whereas for the control hub, this would be a USB-C port. And again, for the expansion hub also, you will need to have a battery connected before the hardware client can detect that you have an expansion hub connected. The driver hub, which is the screen-based device, this can also be updated via the hardware client, the Rev hardware client. But there's one more way you could do this. Now, this is an Android OS with wireless capabilities. And typically, the way you use this is you connect it to the direct Wi-Fi of your control hub. So the control hub, again, has its own Wi-Fi made available to which you would connect with this. But if you were to connect your driver hub to a regular internet-based Wi-Fi, then it will tell you if there's updates needed. And that's one more way in which you can update just the driver hub. But for the expansion and control hub, the Rev hardware client is the only way to update those. So if you guys are ready for, actually, before we jump into the demo, I know we went through quite a bit of information about hardware there quickly. Let's see if there are any questions anyone had. Okay, so Kenny, please go ahead. You can unmute and ask the question.
How many ports do the control hub have?
So the control hub has 4 ports for DC motors and 6 ports for servos. And if you're talking about sensors and I/O ports, that is again something which you typically wouldn't run into a limit on those. There's going to be 4 I2C ports. So I2C ports are for some of the special sensors like the color sensor, the distance sensor. So we will be getting into some of this tomorrow when we do the coding. But the I2C sensors are going to be the fancier sensors. And then there's 8 ports for the digital I/O ports, and then there's 4 ports for analog. Now, in recent times, we haven't really had a need to use the analog ports. The digital ports, you might need to use them, especially if you're going to be having an LED connected to your control hub. But as far as sensors go, most of the newer sensors, they're going to be I2C based. So the control hub has a very similar layout in terms of ports. So these are the DC motor ports along with the encoder ports. And the ones below here, these are the servo ports. And some of this will be, again, delved into tomorrow when we start connecting the required hardware and coding. Or even today, later today, depending on how quickly we get there. And this is where all the sensors would go. Kenny, does that answer your question, or do you have?
Yes, it does. Thank you, sir.
Sure. And along those lines, one more thing to be added is the control hub, like I said, has exactly the same kinds of ports, which means if you had an expansion hub along with the control hub, you can have a maximum of 8 DC motors. And this is really important because you'll typically end up using 4 of those for your drive mechanism, for your drive base. And that means you have 4 motors left for the remaining mechanism. Whereas with servos, you can have up to 12 servos. And we haven't really seen a limit being hit on the servos because I think that's plenty. And then some other things to remember, which we will get into tomorrow specifically, is some of these ports here, as well as what are called the RS485 ports. These are what you'll be using to connect your control hub to the expansion hub. We will be showing this in detail later today or tomorrow when we get to the coding part. Okay, so with that, if the demo for the Rev hardware client is ready, please go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, as you can see here, I have the control hub connected. So basically what that means is connecting can you share the left hand here?
Yes.
Basically, if you want to connect the control hub to your laptop, you just need to connect a USB to USB-C cable.
USB-A.
Yeah, USB-A.
USB-B.
Yeah.
We really want to make sure, a big part of this camp is making sure you are enabled to make connections and start writing code. So please stop us at any point if something's not clear, like, if you couldn't see exactly where it went into the laptop or where it went into the control hub, please stop us and we will show that again. Okay.
Yeah, so once you have it connected, you need to turn the control hub on, and then it should connect over here. And as you can see here, the control hub operating system is already updated to the latest version. And then there's the robot controller app, which I think actually could be updated to a new later version right here. So we'll do that. Do you want to add anything?
So we have the operating system and the robot controller app. Can you scroll down? I believe there's one more. The last one there is the firmware itself. So has anyone had a chance to try or had a reason to try this out?
What'd you say?
Client, you'll find a download link easily. It's hosted on Rev's website. Okay. Right. I'm going to go on to the next topic. Oh, yeah, Kenny, please go ahead.
What did you say? It cut out before you could finish.
So we were just indicating that the Rev hardware client is available on Rev's website. And if you were to simply look up Rev hardware client, you should be able to easily find a download link for that application.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, if there's any cutout, if we are not audible, please let us know. We'll repeat that. Ready?
Oh, no,
Oh, sorry.
All right. So the introduction to FTC coding. So Java is the programming language used for FTC, and we will not be teaching Java in this camp, so it's going to be helpful if you're already familiar with Java and object-oriented programming. This camp will focus on setting you up for being able to code with Java, and it will allow you to run examples. So there are 3 main options for coding. There's Android Studio, OnBot Java, and block coding. So in this camp, we're going to mainly discuss Android Studio, and we're going to touch on OnBot Java. And GitHub is used for source control and collaboration among the team. So with that, let's go to OnBot Java. Okay, so what is OnBot Java? OnBot Java is a programming tool provided by First. It's used on a web browser, so there's no app installation required. First recommends using Google Chrome, but any browser should work. It is hosted on the Control Hub, So it allows you to write code directly onto the device without having to download it on your computer first. You only need to press a button. Actually, yeah, okay. So you only need to press a button to compile the code to make it available to run from the driver station. The FTC SDK and Java tools are already available on OnBot Java without any additional download. And finally, OnBot Java is very easy to collaborate on, and everyone can access updated versions almost instantly. Okay, how does OnBot Java work? So you first need to connect to your control hub from your computer. And then you need to enter 192.168.43.1:8080 into your browser, and that will open OnBot Java. Then you need to click the OnBot Java tab at the top of the screen, and then you can create a new file and start coding. And then you'll see some templates available to select, and you can either choose an autonomous op mode or a teleop. And these templates, what they'll do is they'll set up the necessary configurations in the code for it to appear and run correctly on the driver station. And once you are ready to run, you need to click the build button in the bottom right corner of the screen, and it will compile your code so it can be available to run from the driver station.
So at this point, just want to add a couple of things. What exactly is autonomous op mode or teleop? So as you all know, the competition or each game runs for 2.5 minutes. Now the first half minute or 30 seconds is called the autonomous period. And the piece of code or your program which you run during those 30 seconds, don't take any input from any driver or your gamepad. The only input that it's going to take is from sensors, if that's how you coded it. And that's a separate program than the one that runs later on in the remaining 2 minutes, which is the driver control period. So that's why you need to identify, whenever you write the program, you need to identify whether it's the autonomous program or the teleop program. And the way you do that is by indicating that it's basically an annotation of the program as autonomous op mode or teleop mode. Tele is teleoperated or driver controlled. So that would be the last 2 minutes, during which it takes input from the gamepad. That it could be an Xbox controller or a gamepad that you use for providing inputs. Sachmat, please go ahead.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay.
So now we're going to show a demonstration. So we've spotlighted our camera. We will not be able to share screen when using OnBot Java because you're not connected to the internet while coding.
So this is going to be a little challenging, but as Sachmat will show here shortly, one of the disadvantages about OnBot Java is the fact that since you're connecting directly to the Wi-Fi of the control hub, you cannot simultaneously be connected to the internet. There are some ways around it, like if you added a USB dongle for Wi-Fi, there's a way around it. But as you can see, you'll have to be connected directly to the control hub, at least via one of the wireless devices on your computer.
Show like how we connected on the Wi-Fi, how we connected to the control hub.
Show.
So yeah, just click on like the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So this shows that you're connected to the control hub. And there will be no internet. Right.
So as you can see, it's not connected to one of the Wi-Fi networks that we have available here at the fire station. Instead, it is connected directly to the control hub, which has its own Wi-Fi.
All right, so as you can see, we entered that IP address 192.168.43.1:8080 into the browser, and this is the web page that opened. You need to click the OnBot Java tab here at the top of the screen, and it shows you this. So to create a new file, just click the plus button. You can name the file. And then get first program. Okay. And then here is what I was talking about with the autonomous and the teleop. So for this, we'll just select teleop. And then this is a place where you can select some sample code. So just so that there's some code there. Select example. And then click OK. And then it creates a new file for you with that sample code in the file here. And then this is the build button at the bottom left corner of the screen. You can click that. And when you click it, it'll compile the code directly onto the control hub, and then it will be available to run from the driver station.
So we just wanted to talk about onboard Java as a small part of this conversation today, because some teams might decide that onboard Java is what they want to go with for maybe their rookie year. So please feel free to ask questions. In the next slide here, Sashmit's going to show the advantages and disadvantages of onboard Java. And one thing which we want to make sure you really remember and take from this camp is a lot of amazing code is available as samples. This is provided by FIRST. It's the right way to use your sensor, use various pieces of hardware. And in this case, Sashmit showed you how there's a drop down for samples for onboard Java. And then later on, when they start talking about where to find your convert code for Android Studio, it will be pointed out. Please look through those pieces of code. That's how you will learn to do a lot of what we will be accomplishing here and much more.
All right, so now let's talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of onboard Java. So the advantages is that there is no app installation required, whereas in order to use Android Studio, you need to install 3 applications, which is the Android Studio itself, FTC SDK, and Java. Onboard Java is also very easy to collaborate on, and the build time is very quick because it compiles the code directly onto the control hub, whereas the Android Studio will first compile the code into a file that gets downloaded onto your laptop, and then you need to put that onto the control hub. And then the disadvantages of using onboard Java is that you cannot use Git or GitHub, so it's hard to track changes to your code over time. It has limited capability to load external libraries, and it needs to be connected to the control hub while programming. So yeah, your computer needs to be connected to the control hub while programming. So there will be no internet connection, which is why we couldn't share the screen when we were doing that demonstration. And you cannot code if you are away from the control hub. However, you can download the code while you are connected and then work on it later asynchronously, and then put it back onto the onboard Java when you are connected later. So yeah, that is it for onboard Java. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Is there anything?
So we do have members who worked extensively on onboard Java also. So please feel free to ask us questions, especially if you're wondering which way to go. Definitely, I think we have members here who can answer your questions. So with that, let's see. Let's move on to the next slide.
So what is Android Studio? Android Studio is an IDE, which is an integrated development environment that lets you code applications for the Android OS. Now, if you remember from the previous slides, the control hub runs Android OS, meaning that the use of Android Studio is the only way that we can put code onto the control hub. All right. So what do we need to install? So the first thing that you'll need is Android Studio, the IDE that you're going to use to code, the Java SDK, which is required to compile the code into an app, and then the FTC Software Development Kit, or SDK for short. The FTC SDK will require a different installation process that we'll go over in later slides.
So one thing to add here is regarding the Java SDK itself. So the most recent versions of Android Studio already include Java, so you shouldn't have to necessarily download that. But if you want to try, some basic things like how do you compile a single Java file, how do you run a single Java class? For that, having this available for to use in command line is a good idea. But definitely from an FTC perspective, you do not need to have the SDK downloaded available because it's already included with Android Studio. You can close that window. So, yeah.
Do they already have Android Studio?
Right, so at this point, we'd like to ask, is there anyone here who has been unable to download and install Android Studio on your computer? So let's expand that panel. You want to flip to the right? So we're waiting to hear from anyone who may not have had a chance to download and install Android Studio, because from this point on, a lot of the actions we take will require you to work on Android Studio. So please let us know if you don't. Yeah, can you please go ahead?
I've not downloaded Android Studios yet.
Okay, if you can please do that, that'll help speed things up. We can give you a couple of minutes, and depending on your internet speeds, it's a 2 GB download. So depending on your internet speeds, it may be quick. Ron, do you want to? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Just
gonna
share that in the chat so that we can download it quickly.
Yeah, so yeah, just click on that link and then I'll go back to the installation slide and just like follow the instructions.
So while that's happening, let's go ahead and ask: Have your teams tried to weigh between onboard Java and Android Studio? Has that process already happened, or are you guys pretty set on what you want to do?
So I'm not sure. Looking at the slide before this, I'm honestly not sure. And then we have everything like downloaded already.
Right.
So might as well.
So I hope everyone heard that. We have a team here in person, and they just indicated they're going to go through this camp and see how it feels, but they're leaning towards Android Studio. So Andrew, you have a question? Please go ahead.
I did not hear what she said.
Okay, so she basically indicated that they had not gone through that decision-making process yet. And then looking at the slides and the fact that they've already downloaded and installed Android Studio, they're leaning towards Android Studio. And what I would say is, frankly, you go through this camp, and hopefully having gone through that will let you know if your team is going to be better off with onboard Java or Android Studio. And that's why please stop us and ask questions if you have questions at various times when we go through this. And also, one more thing that might help is from a professional perspective, what you're doing here with Android Studio. This is kind of exactly how professional software developers at companies like Amazon or Google, that's how they work with Android Studio, an IDE like Android Studio. So from that perspective, it is definitely setting you up for something that's closer to the real world software development. But then if you're a rookie team, there's already so much to learn, and you want to do onboard Java for some of the, maybe for one season and then next season move to Android Studio. That's definitely an option too. And in fact, block coding is provided so that teams which are all new and maybe don't have experience with Java, that's the option that they could utilize. Does that answer the question, Andrew?
Yes.
And can you, at any point that you feel you're ready and set up with Android Studio, please let us know. And one more thing we had requested everyone to do was create a GitHub account, like just with your personal email. It's a personal account, not a paid account or anything. So if anyone has not had a chance to do that, definitely when we take a break, we'll take at least one break. But if we feel like we need a couple, we'll do that. And then during the break, you can get that set up. So let's see. So was the process of installing Android Studio smooth for everyone? Did anyone have questions? No? Okay. Anyone on Zoom? Were there any questions regarding the installation process itself?
My Android Studios is still downloading.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it is a pretty large file. It's like 2 GB, I think. So let it go on because I think there's a few more slides that we will talk through before you actually need to start using it. So Harry, if you want to continue, thank you.
So,
Harry, you can switch the webcam to your
Oh, yeah.
speaker phone, so see.
yeah, do we skip this?
Okay.
Do we skip this?
This one, let's see, let me first.
It's
So
just
this is kind of part of the process. Did anyone have questions regarding this part where you got the prompt from Windows? If you've been using Windows. Maybe a good time to ask this question. Do we have any attendees here who are using Mac? Not Windows? Oh, you're okay. We have it. Anyone on Zoom who's using a Mac?
Using a what?
A Mac laptop or a Mac desktop instead of a Windows or Linux?
I think I am. I think I'm using a Mac.
Okay, all right. So yeah, if you have any questions or if the slides you see, if there's any difference, and then please let us know and we'll be happy to show you the Mac equivalent because we do have users here who have the Mac. Let me check if there's more. I'm just curious how many are on there. Okay.
Okay. Oh,
There, yeah. All right, you want to go on to the next slide?
Yeah. That's just more installation.
So yeah, this is the one which is optional for now, but if you're curious to learn the underlying working of Java, I would strongly suggest you install this because a lot of what you can figure out, you will need access to command line Java. Again, not a requirement for FTC, more a requirement for just learning Java and that.
Yeah, okay. So this is installing the FTC Java SDK. So the first thing you'll need to do is open up this link.
That link.
Yeah. Click the link.
Yeah, you can-
Okay. All right, so you click on that link. And then you can scroll down, scroll down here to source code zip. And you so you click on source code zip to download. Wait, oh yeah, I'll send the link in chat first. There's the link. Okay, so when you visit the link, you'll see this website. And from here to download the SDK, you'll need to press source code zip, and then let's see, it's coding camp 1.
I just put it in downloads this time. Last time it was like,
So you're gonna unzip and associate with the GitHub project. So why don't you
Yeah.
download it to a second location?
no, it's like way quicker if you just put it in downloads. Like it's. Remember last time I had to go through the whole file. Yeah, so yeah, basically once you've installed it, you can just like click on it. It should unzip. So yeah, it'll take like a few minutes, but it shouldn't take you like an hour.
And I think one more thing you should indicate at this point is the link that you provided there was directly to 8.2. But if you want to provide a link also to the upper level for all the releases. Because
Oh, yeah.
when later in the season or at the beginning of a new season.
They are going to update.
Right. So yeah, one more thing everyone should be aware here is right now you're seeing 8.2 as the version. But once the season is announced, which would be, was that September 9th or 7th? 9th. So on September 9th, when the season is announced, that day they are going to release a new version of this SDK. So you will need to download that new version and go through pretty much the same steps that you're going to go through in this camp. Because as part of this SDK, they're going to include what kind of game elements you'll be using. And then for TensorFlow, which is for detecting objects using machine learning, they will have the exact elements which they cannot give away right now because it's part of the game review. Hence, please wait for September 9th, and then you will be seeing a new version. So can you please send that over to them? So
I
that-
did.
Okay, so on the right-hand side in that releases, you see 8.2 and it shows latest. When the game is released, that might be 8.3 or it might be 9.0. Whatever the latest one is, that's what you want to download and get started after the season has been announced. So please make sure that is done. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, okay. So once you download it, you have to extract it and then go into Android Studio. So
Okay, so at this point, let me quickly ask, Kenny, has the Android Studio download completed?
No. Yeah. Oh, wait. Nope, now it is.
Now it is? Okay, perfect. When you have a chance to also download the FTC SDK,
okay.
please let us know. Which is the other one that was just demoed. So at this point, we will not yet associate Android Studio with that SDK or import that SDK into Android Studio because we want to now set up GitHub and have that association complete. And once that's done, then we will come back and have the Android Studio import of this SDK. Now, before we do this, just want to explain what the IDE. Do we have slides for that, guys? For IDE?
I don't think we do.
Okay. So the next one here was GitHub, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so before we jump into GitHub, just want to touch on a few things. Now, when you work with a Java file, there's slides for this definitely later on, but I want to quickly touch on this because we want to explain what the IDE is and how you're going to be using this. So when you have a Java file, it has to go through two pieces of processing before it can work on your machine or execute on your machine. So the first one is called compilation. And if you work with the Java SDK, which was the optional one, you will actually have to type in command line JAVAC. And what that means is Java compile. And then you give it the name of a file which has the extension .java. Just checking, everyone has an understanding of what file extension is, correct?
No, sir.
So any file that you have, one more thing that may be useful is if you're on a Windows or a Mac, there will be settings which will allow you to see the extension of the file. And what that means is, for example, on a Word file, you may have an extension of .doc or .docx. And then for a JPEG or a picture file, it might be .jpg or .png. These are called file extensions. And the equivalent for Java files is going to be .java. So if you can set up your Windows Explorer to reveal this or to show this, that would be helpful. Yeah, we could, if you want to quickly show. Yeah. So we'll quickly show you how to enable, because this may be something that not everyone has enabled. So we're going to shift to a Windows laptop here and quickly show you how to enable the file extensions to be displayed. It just, as a software developer, it just makes it easier to identify what's a Java file and what's something else. So let's do that quickly. And while the setup is being done for that demo, to quickly finish up, when you work with that command line or with Java SDK directly, you're actually typing in JAVAC. You get a file which is then called a file with the .class extension, and then you type JAVA and then that file name to actually execute it. There's further slides where this will become more clear, but I'm just being quick about this to tell you that the IDE, on the other hand, allows you to do all this behind the scenes. You don't have to do it, right? So that's why you use IDE, and it makes it much easier. And now coming back to what the FTC SDK is, as you might all recall, the control hub is an Android operating system based device, right? And what this SDK does is it is already a mobile program. Now, if you go to Google Store and you download something for an Android phone, you are actually downloading something called .apk, which is an Android package. Now, this SDK, which has been given to you by FIRST, it will build a program and build an app and make it available to you. And what you're doing as an FTC developer is going in and adding custom code in that application. So when that program or that app gets downloaded to your control hub, it will include your customizations. So that's how you come into play as a software developer or software coding team in this FTC ecosystem. And this is very important to understand because otherwise it's hard to really grasp how the code changes you're making are really making the robot work different. You will see packages and locations for custom code here in some time, but please understand that the SDK is basically everything that's needed to build an Android app and make it go into your control hub. It has all that already provided to you by FIRST. And the custom code that you add will be included along with some of the code which is already existing and made available on the control hub for you to execute your programs. Okay, so just wanted to make sure that basic understanding was there before we jump into the next steps, especially around the SDK. Now, do we have any questions around what was just mentioned about the SDK? Source code. So if we don't have any questions, we'll quickly go on to the demo to enable file extensions. If you're working with Android Studio or coding in general, it's probably a good configuration to make. Okay. So make sure your internet is. So is sharing enabled for everyone? You can share the whole screen.
So,
You want to maybe go to where the zip file is so that they can see. Right, and those are two folders, right? We just want to make sure they can see file extensions. So you probably have to set up file extension here. Right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this to show file extensions on Windows, you have to open a file explorer window, and then click on the view tab, and then just check the box that says show file extensions. And you'll see this is a zip file.
So as you saw earlier, it was not showing the .zip extension, but now it does. And yeah, turning it off. So if anyone has questions about that, okay, Andrew, you have a question, please go ahead.
Should I be doing what you guys are showing, or is this just an example for me to watch?
If you don't want to do this, it's okay. This is optional. We just wanted to make sure that everyone knew of this option and was aware of it, but you don't have to do it. That's fine.
Yeah, it's just helpful.
Yeah. So I think at this point, Naman, the next screen or GitHub. You can share the whole desktop.
Yeah, that's probably a better idea.
Okay, so now we're gonna be talking about Git, GitHub, and source control. So what is Git and GitHub? So Git is a source control system that is used to track changes in your code over time. GitHub is the online cloud provider that hosts your changes in Git folders, which are called repositories. Why do we use Git? If we assume that I make changes to the code and I tell everyone except one person about the changes, then that person will not know that we changed the code. And if I put my changes to Git and upload them to GitHub, all everybody has to do is to check GitHub for the changes. So some key terms to know. So a repository or a repo is a collection of files combined with their history that are managed by Git. Commit is a group of changes made to files along with a description of the changes. Clone is creating a local copy of a repository on your computer. Push is uploading your Git commits to GitHub, and pull is getting your changes from GitHub and downloading them.
So just to put this in very simple terms, think of maybe you use OneDrive or Google Docs to save some files. So what's happening there is you have a location on the cloud where the true source of that file is being saved. And then everyone who's subscribing to it or has access to it, they will download it, make changes, and push it back. Now, with Git and GitHub, it's very similar, and it adds a few more features to that. Firstly, you have the ability to give a description each time you are committing changes, which means you're saving changes back into the cloud version of the files. You are indicating what you did as the person who's committing those changes. That way, the next person who's looking at the code, they know what you changed. They know exactly what's changed. And then you can go through the history of changes. So that's one more thing. Version history is maintained. So every version of the code that was checked in, you will have access to that exact version. So if something went wrong somewhere along the way, you will then have the ability to go back and compare the files and see when did things start breaking or what changed that should not have, things like that. And along with having a history of all the versions, you'll have the history of all the messages that go with each of those versions. And you'll also know who made those changes. So you may have a coding team with, let's say, 7 members. And then, there may be a few who are committing more code or working harder than the rest, right? You can tell who that is. Well, there's ways in which you could make a few file changes and commit code, but that's not in the right spirit. But the idea is you can make code commits and have a history of who did what, and you can go back and revert things if there's an issue. So those are some of the advantages that you get from using a source code management system like Git and GitHub. And again, want to stress on how this is how it works in the real world. I'm a software engineer for my daily work, and I use GitHub at my workplace. And so what you're doing here is learning exactly how things are done in the real world. So take your time, make sure you understand, how to use Git and GitHub, which is one of the exercises we pay a lot of importance to, because this is one of the biggest advantages of using Android Studio, because you now have the ability to use a source code management system like Git and GitHub. Now, if you use block code or if you've used onboard Java in the past, you will know the challenges of maintaining history of changes, maintaining history of, what if you want to revert back to something? You need to maintain a copy of everything. So it's all so much easier when you use Git and GitHub.
So let's install Git and create the first repo. So if you
want to switch to speaker view, so they see you.
Oh. So if you are on Windows, then you have to go to this link, which I can put in the chat. But if you are on Mac OS or if you're on Mac OS or Linux, you already have Git installed by default. So this link I will put in the chat.
So while Naman's copying that link over for you, is there anyone here who's using a Chromebook? If anyone's using a Chromebook, please send a message. Or raise your hand. Zoom. Okay, so, okay, Ella. So Ella, have you had a chance to enable Linux on your Chromebook? You can unmute.
No.
So in order to use Git on a Chromebook, you will need to enable Linux on the Chromebook. So we can help you do that here. Let's see, we're 1 hour in, and maybe it's a good time for a break for about 5 to 10 minutes. You guys want a 5-minute break or 10-minute break? 5 minutes? Okay. So we'll take a 5-minute break. Ella, if you can stay on, we'll have Naman here show you how to enable that, or anyone else who wants to, how to enable Linux on your Chromebook. So Ella, if you can share your screen, we'll talk you through that. And everyone else, please take a 5-minute break. It's 1:58 Pacific time. We will continue back at 2:05 Pacific time. So Ella, if you want to unmute and share your screen, we can start talking.
Do you want me to share my screen right now?
Yes.
We're not able to share the screen.
So we'll quickly check.
Yeah, you
Okay.
should be able to.
So if you see that share screen, which is in green at the bottom, if you can please click on that, and then it'll ask you what to share. You can just select desktop, and then click on the button that says share.
To click on it. That's what we're missing.
Okay.
We'll let you know as soon as we see your screen here. Okay, so Ella is sharing her screen. Can you guys please take it from here?
Yeah. So, I think first of all, just like switch to a different tab because it's like, kind of like it's showing our screen here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. All right. So, I'm going to open your settings. Yeah. So, go to your settings.
It's not on the browser.
Yeah, it's not like your browser settings, just like your actual computer settings.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, that.
I have the article open.
Yeah.
So you need to expand advanced settings.
Yeah, if you look on the left-hand side at the bottom, you see advanced. Please, please expand on that.
Okay.
And I think there should be a little more that you can scroll down there. You should see something called developer options.
I don't see that.
Does it mean for developers?
No, it's not there.
You have to like press the number 7 times or something like that. It's like you don't have, like,
Based on, so under print and scan,
Wait, maybe she didn't have like.
oh, is this an admin account or is it a standard user?
Do you need to be on the admin?
Yes, please.
This is not the admin account.
No, this is not an admin account.
So if you could please switch to admin account, you know where you see print and scan? Below that,
Yeah.
you see an option that says developers.
Yeah, you'll see that once you switch to the
Yeah.
admin account.
Okay, switch to.
And if you need to like enter your password or something, you can stop sharing.
Yeah, you can stop sharing. And can you guys share that link with me?
Absolutely. Just send it to me on Discord.
You can switch.
I sent it in.
Oh, yeah. And Ella, we sent a link in the chat, and that's like basically the article that tells you how to like do this process. So yeah, so in case
Okay.
you go to that.
I need to log in so we can change the system.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna switch the account to the admin.
All right.
And so we may drop off. But we can also use Kenny's computer because he's actually here with us.
Oh,
If we have any problems, but we'll
yeah,
try
that's
that. Okay.
that's fine. Yeah. All right.
So we'll extend the break for a few more minutes. It's 2:06 Pacific. Let's plan on resuming at 2:10 Pacific. And in the meantime, if anybody has questions regarding what we've spoken about so far and what you've been trying to do so far, please do let us know. you can either raise your hand and unmute and ask, or you could send a question in chat. Hi, Kenny. We're just checking if Ella was able to get back on. Were they able to log in?
No,
Were they able to successfully switch over to the administrator account?
Yeah, I have switched over, but it's saying that I need 3 gigabytes of space, and we don't have that space. But because I'm the admin, I set it up when she was a lot younger. So I can't, I need to like give her admin control over it so we can go switch over to her account so we can install it over there or remove some things that need to be removed. So she has space to do it. So I'll keep trying to work on it. We'll just follow along with Kenny then.
Okay, yeah, and we will be happy to help you out, even after this camp is done, if you get that set up. Plus you'll have access to the recording. So if you want to follow along and try to do that later on, and if you still have questions, definitely we can, talk or have a Zoom call. Okay.
Yeah, I got it. I think I kind of understand now, because when we were trying to load it, it said Linux wasn't available or something like that. And now I understand that we have to install Linux first, and then we can install the.
Right, and in our understanding, and as indicated in that, I hope you got access to that link which was sent out before you signed off from the call. So what that does is it explains to you that you basically just go in there and enable Linux. So in our understanding, it's already there. It's just in a default disabled state, and you just have to enable it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll keep trying. Thank you.
Okay, so everyone, I think we had a good break, so let's go ahead and continue. You will get one more break, so okay. So you guys want to go ahead and continue?
Okay. So I assume by now everybody has gotten Git installed. Can everybody just raise their hand if they have Git installed?
Well, since it was a break, we'll just resume from there. So if you can please go ahead and if you have a Windows laptop, you will need to download Git as indicated there. And then you would go through the installation, just everything, whatever is there by default, please select those. So Kenny, yes, please go ahead. You have a question.
Do I need to download the portable thumb drive edition or the standalone installer?
The standalone installer.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, if everyone can please download and install the standalone installer, the .exe.
We'll give everybody a minute before we move on.
And Naman, in the meantime, if you want to copy that URL and
I put it in chat. It's in
okay.
chat. Yeah.
No, I mean if you want to go to the window, like open it in the browser and just
Yeah.
show that. Oh, okay,
So yeah, so this is what the website would look like, and you just have to come over here and click download. It says download for Mac. It's a download for Windows.
I can
For-
It's fine. Or if you guys want-
or we could do it there. Stop sharing.
No, we don't see the. Oh, yeah. So if anyone has questions as you're installing Git, please raise your hand or unmute and ask us.
And just remember, this is only for Windows. If you're on Mac OS and Linux, you should already have it installed.
And as far as 64-bit and 32-bit, pretty much everyone should have a 64-bit at this point. Yeah. So yeah, please let us know in chat or by raising your hand and unmuting if you have a question. What is good?
I don't know why, but I really like it. Thank you for sharing those.
So GitHub desktop is a global setup. Okay, good point. Let's talk about that. Do we cover that? That's right.
No, we don't.
Okay. So we had a question come up here in person, so we'll go ahead and repeat that question and explain a few things about Git and GitHub. The question was one of the users here had an application called GitHub Desktop. So to go back and kind of explain how you work with GitHub, there's not just one way to work with GitHub, right? Because GitHub is a cloud repository for code where you upload your code, and there's multiple ways to do that. One, you can do everything command line, which is, as you can see in the bottom part here, of course, that's not yet Git commands. Well, oh yeah, we have Git in it. So that's one way of working with Git, which is you go ahead and use command line for everything, including committing code to GitHub. That's one way to do it. And then there's another way wherein you do this initialization here, some of the initial setup, and then you use your IDE for all that pushing and pulling of code. If you remember the terms that would help to be familiar with, pushing and pulling were on there, I think. So pushing code is when you have made changes and commits to your code locally, and you're pushing it to GitHub. And pull is the other way, which is you want to get changes which others have pushed over to GitHub, you want to pull that into your code repository. So you could do that through the IDE. So our IDE here is Android Studio. And as you will see pretty quickly here, Android Studio has a tab called commit, and through that you can do all these actions. But then GitHub also provides another way of interacting with GitHub, and that is an application called GitHub Desktop. So if you have GitHub Desktop installed on your laptop or the computer, what you can do is you don't have to rely on using command line or on Android Studio. Instead, you can keep working on code, making changes, but then you go off and open this separate application called GitHub Desktop and use that one for pulling and pushing code. Again, there's no right and wrong way to do things. Just find what you think is more convenient for you. I think most of our team members end up using Android Studio's way of doing it. So you basically initialize and set it up using some commands, and then you use Android Studio to do that. And funnily, I preferred using GitHub Desktop because I was not really pushing and pulling code. I wasn't writing code, but just seeing what the team was doing. And for me, GitHub Desktop worked fine because I could just do a full take a look at what the team has been doing as a mentor, and then make sure that things are going well. And for that, GitHub Desktop was. I hope that answers the question. All right. So if everyone, or let me reword that. Is there anyone who wants some more time to complete installing Git? If you do, please just send a message. You can send a message directly, or you can raise hand.
I would like to.
Okay, so we'll give a couple more minutes and then check again. Questions? As you're going through that, if you have questions, please do let us know. We'll try and help. Someone want to help? She has a question.
You can wait for now. We'll get to that in a bit. Okay.
Sorry, I thought we had something more.
No. Okay, stop it. I can do that. Yeah, like, and I know that you could like check it, so I got it wrong, and I got like 0, right? So then the margin is missing, even though I did it, I just like didn't get any points.
Okay, is there anyone else who
That's failing.
needs some more time? And if you're stuck at something or have a question, please feel free to ask. So while anyone who's completing that is doing that, just wanted to talk about a couple more things regarding the download location. So now, if you see the commands here, we have that as the downloads. The assumption was when you downloaded the FTC SDK, the one which says 8.2, that you may have downloaded it into your downloads folder. Now, the ideal location for that would be where you want your code to reside. It could be, your name and then /documents/code, and then under that you could have, your team name or something like that. That's one kind of possibility. It will still work if you have it under downloads, and that's totally fine from a camp perspective. But I wouldn't, just from an organization perspective, I wouldn't suggest having your code for your, entire FTC in your downloads folder. It's probably better off under you could even put it on your C drive code. It could be C/code and then FTC or something like that. Just wanted to, make it clear that it does not have to be on the downloads. In fact, downloads is simply where it might go by default, and it's suggested you do it elsewhere. But for the purpose of the camp, if you want to continue with downloads, that's totally fine. It's not going to be an issue. Any questions regarding the location? Okay,
So I think,
so Andrew, please go ahead.
Can't get my terminal to work.
So you're trying to open Git bash, is that correct? Or wait,
What?
you have a Mac, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so when you open terminal, is it not opening up, or what are you seeing?
It's open. I just can't get it. I can't get the commands in.
Would you like to share your screen?
yeah, he's going to.
So,
We haven't gone to commands yet. He's going there.
okay, so we will go to commands here in a moment. So maybe at that point, if you have the need to share the screen, you can do that. So at this point, we were just waiting to make sure everyone got Git installed. And Mac users, of course, since it's already installed, you can just wait. And so is there anyone who wants us to wait another minute to finish installing Git? So please raise your hand or just send a message if you want us to wait more. Otherwise, we'll start talking about the commands that you see down there. Okay.
All right, so let's get started. So now, if you're on Mac, you just need to open up your terminal. If you're on Windows, it'll be called Git Bash, and just open it. So we'll wait here until everybody's opened it. Just share your screen. Just raise your hand if you've gotten to this point.
So this is how a Mac user would do it. We're going to have another person here shift over to a Windows laptop and open up Git Bash. We see there are multiple questions.
That means they finished. Raise hand means they finished.
Oh, you said
yeah,
finished. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Share your screen. We'll show how you can do it on a Windows computer as
So
well.
let's give a moment. I think, was there any users who are still waiting? Let's just quickly check. So May and Micah, if you need help, please let us know. Have you been able to download Git properly? And are you in the middle of the install? May or Micah, if you can please unmute.
I have everything downloaded properly. I am just waiting for the instructions on how to properly open the FTC robotic controller on a Windows laptop.
Okay, so you did install Git, correct?
Yes, I did.
Perfect. All right. So then you can raise your hand because that's what I think the raise hand was requested for. And
oh, sorry.
No. And May, could you please let us know if you were able to download Git and start the installation? May, you may be speaking on mute. We were just checking what part of the process you might be. May, if you want to send a message, please feel free to do that. You can just let us know if you're in the middle of installing or middle of downloading. And if you need help, we can have you on shared screen and start helping.
So, I'll be demonstrating like how to open Git bash on Windows. Basically, you can just like click on your Windows icon and just type Git, and then the screen pop up, and then just click open.
Wait, you need to be slow. Can you please show that and wait there for?
Basically, click on your Windows icon in the bottom left corner.
You need to click. You need to click on the Windows icon. Okay.
Start typing Git, and then
Just show on the right hand side.
Yeah, right here.
And just remember, you should open up Git Bash, not any of the other apps. Just
Yeah,
it has to be Git Bash.
These two, make sure it's Git bash. Yeah, but once you have that, just click on open, and it should open up the window.
So all the participants can lower the raised hand, and please let us know if you need, if that is clear or not. If you're having an issue, please raise your hand and you can talk and let us know. Okay, we got thumbs up. Right.
All right, let's move on.
Let me just check on May. So May, we were not able to hear you. We are not aware of the progress. Can you please let us know if you're able to, at this point, open Git bash? Okay, all right. So May, as we go along, if you have a question, please do let us know. We want to make sure you're able to progress along. Okay.
All right, so at this point, everybody should either be in their terminal or their Git Bash. So now as shown in the presentation, you need to go to the place where you save your. So as said in the presentation, you need to go to the location where you downloaded the FTC robot controller and extracted it. So for some of you, it might be your downloads or it might be another location. So just follow this command. It'd be CD and then the place where you saved it. So by standard, it'd be in your
The place where they unzip.
the place where they unzipped it.
So you may have unzipped your FTC robot controller, the file that was downloaded earlier. You may have downloaded that in the download folder. And if you want to continue using the download folder, that is fine. But if you want to move it instead to, let's say, C:code or D:code if you have a D drive, or if you want to move it to documents and then work under documents, that's also fine. All those are fine options. Because what we will be doing next, you just have to make sure you go to that folder in the command line or in Git bash and just navigate to it properly. Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's still you have to do.
So Andrew, you raised your hand. What's going on? Is anything wrong?
I do not know where I downloaded it.
Okay.
So wherever you downloaded it, like in your browser, there should be like a pop-up at the bottom where it shows like the location. So you just click. So here, let me.
If you want, you can share your screen and we can
Yeah.
help you out that way. So yeah, so stop sharing. Yeah, so yeah, Andrew, now you can share your screen and wait, we can try to help you out. Oh, and Kenny, you raised your hand too. I will get to you in a second.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, all right,
All right.
that's all right, so yeah, so Andrew, whenever you're ready to share your screen and we'll help you out that way.
So everyone was able to. get it.
Andrew sharing the screen. Can you
Okay.
help that with?
So, Andrew, just let us know if you need help on how to share your screen. Okay, Micah, you have a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I have the FTC robot controller. How when I click on it, it just goes into the files. Is that supposed to open up some command prompt or something? Or
So-
is that right?
You downloaded the zip file. If you right click on the zip file and do extract all, that should extract and create a new folder in the same.
Okay, yeah,
So if you have already done that, please let us know.
I have.
Okay, perfect. Then next, you would open up the terminal because you are on a Mac, correct?
No, I am on Windows.
Oh, sorry, okay. Then you would, just like was shown, you would open up Git bash. So you go to your start button, you click on it, and then where you can type in and search, just type in Git, and then you should be able to see Git bash. So please open Git bash. And
I
that's-
have it. I have it open all right here.
All right, in that case, do you want to maybe share your screen? And Andrew,
Okay.
we'll get back to you in a second.
wait,
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah,
So
so
while
Micah,
Micah is doing that, Andrew, if you had a question quickly, we can try and respond. Otherwise, we'll get to you as soon as we finish. this.
Okay.
Okay.
So Micah, so you need to do, just type in CD
CD.
and then put a space and type in downloads with a capital D.
You have to put a /C/users.
And then put a slash
No, it's already there.
and then click enter. Okay, and now type in CD. Put a space. Type the letter F, capital F. Oh,
Wait.
okay.
that's all right. All right, just,
Alright.
yeah, click the up arrow.
Click the up arrow twice.
Up.
And now click enter
Okay.
and type in CD. Put a space and now type in a capital F. And click tab. And now click enter.
Okay.
And now you're caught up and we'll go to the next step soon.
Yeah, so
Okay. Thank you.
yeah, make
Okay,
sure
don't
not
close
to
that.
close the
Don't
window.
close the window.
So I think, Andrew, you're on a Mac. We're going to talk to you here in a moment. So everyone else should be at this point in your Git bash window. Right, yeah. So,
Yeah, so
Andrew,
Andrew,
yeah,
Yeah,
please
you
go ahead now
you can go and share.
Yeah,
if you
you
want.
can share it. So Andrew, you click on that green share button and then you can select desktop and click on share button.
You want to clear it.
Andrew, are you sharing your screen or?
And Andrew, if you had a question first, please go ahead. Unmute and we can talk.
When am I supposed to be downloaded again?
So you had downloaded the FTC SDK controller, right? The one that you had the link for? The one which was done before we started talking about Git. You can share your screen and we can help you.
Can
navigate.
you send me the link to that? Because I don't see it in my downloads.
Okay, so if you look in chat, that should already be there. Which is before, can you move the participants thing over? So it's the one which was sent. Let's see, which was sent at 1:40 p.m. Pacific. Okay, I think it was just reposted. So if you, yeah, it was sent to you directly, Andrew. If you can click on that link. And then if you scroll down, you'll see 4 different. Okay, all right, great. It's sharing it. So
All right, yeah. So just scroll down and click source code zip.
Zip, yeah. And then that would have
Okay.
downloaded it into your
Yeah,
downloads.
so now you can open up your Finder.
Let's just wait for that. Okay.
Yeah, so just,
Oh, you've actually downloaded it, because it shows that you already have it. So you can now open the terminal window. Okay, if you can please go to CD space downloads with a capital D. So you already have it extracted as, sorry, I don't mean there, I mean in your
terminal window.
terminal. If you can please type CD, you already have.
You need to
terminal.
click on it. Just click on the, yeah, there you go. Then downloads with a capital D.
If you hit tab, it should usually autocomplete.
Oh, I think,
Downloads. And hit enter.
oh, I think you spelled downloads incorrectly.
I think there was an M instead of.
Yeah.
N.
Down.
So, yeah. Andrew, if you can just hit the up arrow, but correct the M to an N, downloads. I think it was just a typo.
Yeah, CD, and then type in downloads.
DOWN, yeah. Yep, yeah, okay. If you hit tab, it should autocomplete, Andrew. You can hit tab at any point and it'll show you. No, not that, just your tab.
Oh,
Okay, all right, you can just type in DS and be done.
okay. And click enter. And now you should type,
Can you do a
CD.
LS space minus L?
What'd you say?
Can you type LS space minus L? So type
L.
lowercase L, lowercase s, a space, and then minus L,
Minus what?
L, L as in Lucy,
Minus, oh, L.
and then hit enter. Say okay, yeah. So that was needed. That's why it was not happening. Okay, perfect. So now you can go and type in CD space capital F. Sorry, capital F as in fan. And then lowercase tc. T as in Tom, C as in candy, yeah. And then if you hit tab now, it should fill up. Perfect. Now hit enter. Okay, so, and then if you type PWD, it should show you your current location.
A lowercase d?
It's all lowercase, P as in Peter. Sorry, P as in Peter, W, and then D as in dog.
You have a extra D at the
Yeah, you need to remove the D at the beginning.
What?
You want to remove the D which you have at the beginning. It's not D PWD, just PWD.
Oh, okay, got it. P.
That simply means present working directory. And then you
Got
hit,
it.
yeah, you hit enter. Okay, perfect. So I think this is where everyone is. So I think Michael is fine, Andrew is fine. That means everyone's good to go.
Yep, I think everyone else is good to go.
Okay, so yeah, if there's anyone else who needed help, please let us know now. Again, these are the steps where we want to make sure you get it right, because what you do next will be affected if you don't get this, or if you won't be able to proceed without this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so at this point, everybody should be in their FTC robot controller. And now the command should be simple. So he's going to type in git and then init. and click enter. And you should just see this text and that means, and that's good. So-
Increase the resolution so that the people here in the room can see.
Yeah, and so once everybody gets to this step, just raise your hand.
Yeah, just raise your hand once you've typed in
My
git.
thing says error. When I typed in git int, it said error.
Git space INIT. Git space INIT.
Yeah, just like if you see this shared screen at the top, you should see like.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so yeah, let's see who all raised their hands, because I think you requested
Yeah, so,
everyone
alright.
who completes it to raise their hand,
Yeah,
right?
so Kenny and Micah, alright, you guys are done, that's good. Alright, so then,
Yep, well,
Nice.
once you've done this, just raise your hand so we know you're done.
It didn't pop up with the same line of text, although it did not show any error code or anything like that.
What did
That's
it say?
are you on a Windows?
Yes,
That probably might be why.
So guys.
yeah, that makes sense.
Does it not show the text in yellow?
Yeah, that's, on Windows, it won't show this text, this is just for Mac.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure.
So yeah, for everyone's benefit, just to make it clear, the parts that you see in yellow, that will only show up on a Mac. On a Windows, you will only see the lines which are in white, and both of them are successful.
My thing said error again.
Okay,
Do you want to share your screen?
so
Sure.
it needed to be run only once. So Andrew, was that you who tried that?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, so you only need to do that once, and if it worked once, then you can leave it at that.
Yeah. Can you just share your screen real quick and we'll confirm? Okay,
Git init.
Wait, that's, what's XC then?
can you just type in git? Just git?
Oh, he tried the second time, right? That's why.
Wait,
no,
no,
wait,
no,
go
it
ahead.
failed the first time.
So
Click enter.
is Xcode to be installed?
I don't
So
know.
Andrew, do you have Xcode installed? Do you know?
I don't know if I have it or not.
So you may need to install Xcode to have access to Git. Can you just type git and hit enter?
He did that.
Okay, so Git is not available because Xcode needs to be installed.
So can you open up your app store? All right, and just, yeah, click continue. And just search Xcode. So it's X and then code, all one word.
Just the letter X and then CODE, yeah.
Yep, click enter. And the second one, you just click get.
Right here?
Yep,
Yes.
and click install.
So for development on a Mac, you will need that.
Oh, it's too, the Mac OS is too old.
Uh,
I noticed it when it was Safari.
All right, so at this point, Andrew, what you would need to do is you'll need to update your operating system and then install Xcode. And that's when Git will become available. But what we'll do is let's complete a few of the steps that you can. You can do this overnight, and then tomorrow we'll help you out. But also for several of the steps that we do with respect to coding, it is okay if you don't have GitHub. It's just that if you had GitHub, you'll be able to push your code and get used to the process, the way you're going to do it throughout the season. But for now, what I would suggest is you continue to follow along, because if you shut down your laptop for operating system upgrade, that's not going to be a quick thing. It'll probably take you an hour or two to get that upgraded. So we'll, if you can please do that after this camp tonight, and then have it ready by tomorrow, we can we can pick it up tomorrow and help you create that association. So for now, we'll keep letting you know what steps will happen tomorrow for you and what steps you can continue to do today. So
I got it.
okay, all right. So Naman, let's go ahead and continue at this point. Let's check who else raised their hands. So let's see, Andrew. May, checking again if you're able to hear us, and just wondering if you've been able to follow along. Otherwise, let's continue.
All right. Okay.
Right, this is the time contribute part, but this is a one time.
Okay. So at this point, everybody should have done this Git init. So let's head back to the presentation. Continue. So this is just some simple setup. So I think everyone right now should have a GitHub account. Can everybody raise their hand if they do? Okay.
I have a question. How can I tell if I have a GitHub account?
So if you didn't create one,
So we had requested everyone to go to that location and create an account. But if you haven't, you can do that now. Does everyone here have a GitHub account? So let me ask if there's anyone who doesn't have a GitHub account yet, please go to that. It's going to be pretty quick. Please go to that URL and then sign up for a personal account, not paid or anything, just a personal account.
Wait, just send that to everybody. Because there's like other people too.
we'll give everybody a few minutes to get this done.
So those of you who already have one or just finished creating one, please raise your hand in Zoom. We'll wait for everyone to have that. So if you want, you can go. Oh, yeah. So the part before that is called the command prompt. It can be anything. But, yeah. No. Guys, no square brackets, right? That's just to indicate full name.
No, you do.
You do need to put the square brackets?
Oh, okay.
Do you?
Oh, no. No.
Go back.
I thought you meant that. Okay.
You know, this is what it gave me. Okay.
I know.
Like,
It's whatever email you use when you sign up for it.
I did my Gmail. That's what I was supposed to do.
I would say just don't use your school email because so it's config // and then user dot email.
Oh, just 2 dashes?
Yeah, 2 dashes. Yeah, 2 dashes. So those of you who do have a GitHub account, you can go ahead and run those 2 commands. Please pay attention to everything. You do not need the square brackets. You need the double quotes and your name for the first command, and then double quotes and your email, the email that you use to sign up for GitHub. That's what you want in place of the square brackets and the words your email address. And once you've done that, let's wait at that point. So just checking, is there anyone here who's in the middle of creating the GitHub account? So once you're done with creating the GitHub account, please just raise hand and then we'll know when everyone has it.
Yeah, just a reminder to raise your hand when you're done creating a GitHub account. All right, so I think that should be everybody.
Okay.
All right, that's perfect. Now we can all move
So
on.
if you've had a chance to create the GitHub account, please go ahead and run those two commands, which you see at the bottom of the screen. Please pay attention. There are 2 dashes, and then you do not need the square brackets. You just need the double quotes.
So I think everybody's done all this. Am I right? Everybody's done the 2 commands?
No, I have not yet.
No, I have not.
Okay, so we'll go over that. So you need to type in these 2 commands. And where it says your full name, you put in your name without the square brackets. And then you put in your email address where it says your email address.
So I put git confine -- global username dot name and then my name.
It's git config -- global user dot name and then your name in quotations.
Thank you.
Is there a space between the dashes in global?
No, there's no space. This is my second group. Yeah, no, I'm freshman. It's just everybody here is freshman. Yeah, but you're an A. Please wait. I think that was the wrong.
So Lucas was here earlier. He's a sophomore.
There's no answer.
Okay, so if everyone's run those 2 commands, we'll move on to the next page. Let's wait.
I haven't run the codes yet. I'm still working on.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good.
We'll wait.
It's okay. In fact, you don't want to be able to post.
When I put the first code, it said another error.
Oh, right. So your Git isn't set up yet. So you can just ignore some of the next slides for now.
Oh, okay, got it.
Let's keep this one. Oh, yeah. Wait,
So I think everybody's finished so far. So we're moving on.
Wait, I think we're waiting on some of them, right?
I think everybody's done it.
We're still waiting on.
Yeah, let's wait, because they're gonna raise their hand once
Yeah.
they're done running these 2 commands. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
That should be it.
That's all.
I think, no, from what I see, there's a couple more who are waiting to finish.
No.
Andrew, he doesn't have access. Yeah.
Oh, right, Andrew, will wait to do this. later.
Kenny had his hand up. You just put it down right now. Can you just put his hand up?
Oh, okay.
So he was done.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you can all lower the hand because it looks like everyone has completed these 2 steps.
Wait, I've not finished yet.
Oh, you've not
Oh,
finished
okay.
yet. Okay.
Nice. Can you? That might have been from the previous.
Showed up with like a family around his head because he's scared. I should learn how to time out. Do the stuff so fast. No, I just hope we don't. Slower and he's like, oh, I know it's all stupid. And then I'm like,
Is there anything we can help with completing that?
You know, his house is on the way. Yes. Why does he love your process? He never judged it. He never judged it. He liked it.
Kenny, is there, do you want to share screen? We can help.
Yes, yes. Hold on.
Oh my gosh. Why is he actually from someone with a 7 really scrappy? Like, I love him. Huh? Is he actually just someone who's not good? He was something maybe that's why.
Guys, can you come here and help Kenny?
Disappointment. He only did his
So I think he was trying to run the 2 comments.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right, so we can type them in the chat. So Nom, do you want to type the commands in the chat? Just type them there. It's okay, you can send it to everybody.
Oh, yeah. He was like looking at the Air Force. Like, what?
Okay, so it's converting it into a big dash. You may want to.
Oh, yeah.
What are you
I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's see if it. Don't have to.
No, just don't have-
Just say your not. Yeah, you're going. And then.
So yeah, so Kenny, we just sent you something in the chat. So just type that into your terminal or your Git bash, and then where it
Replace-
says
Replace your name, the words, your name with your action. It's. So please use the full name that you used when you created your GitHub account. It's the full name of the user. Full name.
Full name.
Yeah, full name. And then close quotes.
Oh,
So. Oh,
oh no, wait,
is it the full name or the username?
it's their full name.
no,
So
it's you probably didn't send it like.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Alright.
And then you can hit the up arrow and then replace the word name with email. And then
You have to
You have to
like,
use your
hit
arrow
with your
keys.
arrow
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep that.
Email. And then type into email.
the email that you used when you created the GitHub account. Close quotes and then enter. Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
there you go.
All right, so with that, I think everyone finished configuring their Git with the GitHub information. So now,
All right, well, sure.
So I know this feels a little slow, but this is one of those things which is, you do this once and then you're set up. So when you download the new FTC SDK controller, you'll have to follow these steps again once, and that's it.
Well,
You don't have to do that again for the
you
rest
don't
of
have
the
to do
season.
this step again.
Well, yeah, not these steps, but some of the next steps, you'll be doing them just once in the season, and once for the repository. So please bear with us, but this is important. That's why we're, making sure that everyone's getting through this. And once we get to coding, you'll see that, you'll be able to make quick progress. at that
Okay.
point.
So now we just open up our web browser and go to github.com. So this is what you should see. So, or something like this. So now we just go over here and click the green new button.
Again, let's pause and.
Yeah,
wait.
we'll wait here until everybody has done it.
But I think go back to that other screen with the button, please.
Am I correct? I'm not able to do it until. I've
Yeah,
downloaded
yeah,
something?
yeah. We'll let you know when you can continue.
So,
He doesn't have Git installed.
Got it.
but Micah, you can, sorry, Andrew, you can still do this, and create the repository, but you won't be able to do some of the steps
Yes.
later on.
Yeah.
You can
this-
still
yeah,
do this.
Go back to the. Yeah, so yeah, just remember like, just open up github.com and then click this one, with this button right here. And once everybody's clicked this, just raise your hand.
And you should have logged in to be able to see this.
Yeah, you need to
Yeah,
be logged in.
Make sure you're logged into your account. Like you can see right here where you're logged into a GitHub account. In the top right. So yeah, so just make sure you're logged in and then click this button. And once you click that button, just raise your hand.
Mine does not have new.
Are you logged into your GitHub account?
Yeah, I am.
So yeah, we'll share screen.
Yeah, all right. You can go ahead and share your screen.
So was I supposed to create a repository and then give it a name?
Yeah, just click create repository.
Yeah, after you create, let's just wait. Yeah.
Yeah, just click, yeah, and you can wait here now.
I think it shows new if you already have a repository. If you've never created a repository,
Oh,
it shows
okay.
create repository.
So it should be either a new button or a create repository button for any of you. Just raise your hand once you've gotten there.
So ask them to raise their hand. once
Yeah.
they're done.
Kenny, have you gotten there yet?
Yes, I'm raising my hand.
All right.
Perfect.
Oh, it's not visible. Okay, there we go. All right,
Okay.
so everybody should be at this screen now. So now we're just going to call this pre-season dash FTC dash SDK.
Oh,
You
give
just
it.
do like, just do number.
So just do pre-season, that's FTC dash SDK.
You don't need the dash one. If
Yeah.
you have it, it doesn't harm it, but you don't need it. We already had one with the same.
And
name.
then just make this private. So everybody should be at this stage and just raise your hand if you've gotten here.
Maybe the raising hand is becoming too often. You guys can just, maybe after the next. So after this, what's the next? thing?
Oh, yeah. So yeah, once you've completed this step, just like unmute and say that you completed it.
I completed it, and my sister also completed it.
Okay.
All right.
I completed it.
I completed it.
Okay, thank you then. So next,
Yeah. Micah, have you gotten to this point yet?
Having trouble with my account.
Do you want to share, Micah?
Yeah,
Okay,
you
help
can
you.
share your
Okay, sure.
And again, everyone, like I mentioned, we're being slow and careful with this just so that everyone has the right steps. This is done just once. So you'll not have to repeat this. We'll be getting to coding soon after this.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, don't be. I mean,
Okay.
So for the username, you can't put any spaces in it.
Yeah. You don't want spaces.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Okay. Okay. I should just be a second.
All right.
So it's 3:07 Pacific. We'll give everyone a 5-minute break. And Micah, in that time, hopefully you can finish that up and go to the steps which you needed to follow.
Okay.
So it's 3:07 and or 3:08. So everyone will get back at 3:15 Pacific.
Oh yeah, thank you, Andrew, for helping May out.
Those are
Okay. I just got logged in to Git and can I share screen?
Yes,
Okay.
you may share.
Okay. You guys need to stop sharing screen for that to be possible. Thank you. Share. No, this. So now I'm here. Where do I go from here?
All right, so now you just want to click on create repository.
Oh,
And-
there. Yeah. Okay.
All right, and then name this pre-season. So yeah, so click on repository name, type, I'll put it in the chat for you really quick.
Okay.
Yeah, alright, so pre-season. All right, yeah, so you can see what I typed in the chat. Just type that in repository name, or you can like copy paste it to you. Yeah.
Okay.
And then sorry, just like make the P lowercase. The Zoom chat just like automatically made it uppercase, but yeah, all right, perfect. All right, and then now click on private instead of public. Yep, all right, and then you've caught up now. So
Okay.
um,
Thank you.
yeah, so I think we still have 2 minutes left of the break, so we'll get back in 2 minutes and continue with the next steps. Yeah,
Great. Thanks so much.
yeah, you're welcome.
So, excuse me?
Oh, yes, did someone have a question?
Yes, let me share my screen so can I show you something real quick?
Yes, yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, so, okay, all right, good, so you're installing Xcode. Oh, I think that might mean that you need to update your Mac. Okay, all right. Oh, wait, if you don't mind, let me just check something really quick.
We're on the latest version of this Mac.
All right, that is interesting. So you said you're on, I don't know.
Which I need.
So,
I need 13, but the latest version is 10.15.7. I need version 13.
Update.
This is the latest version to do it. This is the latest version for this
Computer from late 2013. It might not be supported anymore.
Oh, all right. Want to talk to me about that?
Let me stop sharing real quick.
So
yeah,
your computer's from late 2013, so I don't know if it's supported anymore.
Okay, go ahead. Unmute. That was the keyboard shortcut today.
Wait, Harry, come back here. Right there. I don't think you.
Okay, so basically your laptop's on the about screen, it said your laptop was from late 2013. So I think it might not be supported anymore and you can't update.
Here, let me show you. This right here.
Yeah, I'm saying like since your laptop's like from late 2013, it's too old and it doesn't and Apple doesn't support it anymore, so you can't update.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I would say as of now, yeah. We'll be happy
So, Andrew, I think there is like an alternative solution, which is something called installing Homebrew. So if you want, like later on, like tomorrow morning or something, we can talk about this like a little bit later too, but we can have like another session with just you where we basically show you how to install Homebrew. Yeah, because it is a long process, so we don't want to do it right now because we kind of like keep everyone else waiting. Yeah, but we can have a session with you later.
You're gonna have to start that over. I was talking to my parents.
Oh, okay, all right. What I was saying is we can have a session with just you like later, like tomorrow morning or today evening or something like that, where we basically show you the alternative solution because it is a long process. So we don't want to have to like do it right now. It will take a while. Yeah, but we can also talk about this a little bit later too. Yeah. All right, so I think it is now 3:20. So I think we'll continue with camp. I think the break's over. So yeah, so let me share your screen again. So yeah, so I think now we're at this step. So has everyone clicked create for their repository? Just a second.
I'm gonna change the name.
All right, just a second. All right, so yeah, so I think raise, all right, is everybody like back at their screen now? Just like raise your hand or thumbs up if you're back. Alright, so we have Andrew, we have Micah. And then, alright, yeah, we have Nathan. And we have May. Oh yeah, okay, nice. We have everybody. Alright, so I think, yeah, you guys are all on this screen. So the next step is just gonna be to click create repository. So yeah, so then you should be on this screen. So yeah, so once everybody has done that, just like unmute and say you've done it, or raise your hand.
I have done it.
I have done it.
Done.
I have done it.
Okay, all right, so I think yeah, I think Micah, did you say you've done it?
Yes, I did.
All right, and May, have you done this step yet? What are you hoping? Okay, all right, yeah, okay, good. We got a thumbs up from May. All right, so now the next step is to basically, you're gonna want to open your terminal or Git bash again. So yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Yeah, no, that's the next step that we're doing. Okay. So, all right, now. All right.
All right. So let's just quickly head back here. Okay. So everybody should have copied this link now. So we're going to go to the back to our terminal and type in git remote add origin. And then we're going to paste the link. So,
or whatever it is. I don't remember.
for Windows, the paste is going to be like a right click. And for Mac, it's just Command V.
No,
Am I able to do that since I don't have the Git?
No, you won't be able to.
Yeah, so
Got
at
it.
this point, Andrew, you can wait and then, we'll continue tomorrow. For you.
Will you just post the full command in the chat?
Got
Yeah,
it.
sure.
The URL.
Andrew, I mean, like, just the next few comments. After that, we will be able to continue again. Yeah.
So you just do that, and then after that, you put in the URL at the end of the command. The one I put in the chat.
Will you repeat the beginning of the command again? It was git.
So it's git remote add origin.
Okay. Git.
All right, and once you've gotten to this point, just unmute yourself and just tell us.
I'm not seeing the URL in the chat. Are you sure you sent it?
So you need to go to the page earlier and put the URL that you copied.
Yeah, so I'll show you. So basically, you're gonna, all right, yeah. So back in this screen, do you see this quick setup thing?
Yes,
So
I do.
what you want to do is just click this to like copy the link. So yeah, so once you've clicked this, yeah, just let me know once you click this button.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
And
So then now go back to your terminal, and then you just type git remote add origin space, and then you just paste that there. And if you're having issues with pasting, just like right click and click paste. Yeah, because sometimes control V doesn't work.
Control V. I think that's something.
Yeah.
Do I press enter?
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead. All right. Has everybody else also finished? If you haven't finished, just put your hand up.
All right. So yeah. So Micah, it seems like you finished.
Yeah. All right. I think that means everyone's done. So we're gonna continue ahead. Now, So we're gonna type in git branch dash capital M main and click enter.
So yeah, once everyone's completed this,
Yeah.
just raise your hand or unmute and say you finished.
Will you let me know when I'm able to jump back in?
Not yet. Well, we'll let you know.
Got it.
I mean, we can decrease the screen resolution to make it bigger.
No, I was watching her. She was typing this stuff. I never get to see it. I'm not studying the hospital.
All right, so looks like Nathan has finished. Yeah, just remember, yeah, when you're done, just like raise your hand or unmute and say you finished.
So as you're all completing that, just wanted to share some technical details here. Now, along with allowing you to have versions and history and comments and things like that, Git and GitHub, they also allow you to have something called branching, which is you probably don't need to use this unless you want, unless you get comfortable enough. And let's say there's a few of you who want to go and try something with a new thing. Let's say somebody wants to try Roadrunner and they don't want to check in code to the main code and potentially mess it up. So they want to create a separate branch. It could be something like a test Roadrunner branch. And what you see here, main, that's the main branch. So you may also see master instead of main. Master used to be the default main branch, and now they call it main. But that's also a possibility. And the way that works is you will need to, once you create a branch from your main, you work on it, and then you may decide, okay, I don't want to ever get that code back into main, so you just let it stay that way. Or there may be a situation where you created a bunch of code on that branch and you now want it to come into main. And that's when you do something called merging. Just laying it out there as a possibility as you get more and more comfortable with GitHub. Definitely not something you need to be able to do right away or something you need to bother about right away. But just know that there's an option like that. Okay. All right, you guys want to continue?
All right, so now we'll also run the next command, which is git. Okay, so now we'll do
Press another line.
Git.
The TV cuts it off.
Git add dot. And then click, and I'm not going to click enter yet, but everyone else can click enter, and you'll see a lot of text go by.
It's fine. It says it's a warning.
Or
It's
not.
fine.
Okay, I guess not.
If you're on
On-
Windows,
yeah.
it'll spew out a bunch of warnings.
Yeah, if you're on
Ignore
Mac,
that.
yeah, if you're on Mac, when you press enter, it won't say anything.
And once everybody's done that, just let us know. All right.
Do you have a screenshot where all the commands are on there?
Yeah.
Okay. So while everyone's completing those commands, I'll talk about that. So let's quickly talk about what these commands are doing. Now, the first command that you all ran was git and then init. So just recall how you had downloaded the SDK and expanded that, right? So you had a set of folders under that FTC SDK controller folder. So by initializing, you basically indicated to Git that whatever is there in this current directory, that is now going to constitute a Git repository. So that was what git init did. And now the second command you ran was git remote add origin, and then you have that URL. And if you recall, before that step, you went to GitHub and you created a new repository in GitHub. And then you copied the path and brought it in here and put it in place after origin. What that command does is it's adding everything that you have in this current folder, which would be your FTC SDK controller folder. It's adding all of that to this repository, and you call it origin because that's what's remotely available in GitHub. And that's where you're synchronizing your local folders with. And then that's why you're saying add to origin, and then you're telling it where the origin is, which is your remote GitHub location. So that was the second command. And then the third command, you said git branch and then -m main. What you did there was you indicated that you want to be working with this branch named main, and that's your main branch. Like if you wanted to use master instead of main, you would have replaced that last word with master instead. And that way you're basically telling your local repository, as well as what's going to sync up with GitHub, that the main repository or main branch you want to use is called main. And then you ran the fourth command, which was git space add dot. And what that does is dot is the way in which you say current directory. So in command line, when you say dot, it simply means your current directory. So you're adding all the files that are in your current directory to the repository. And that is to your local repository. And the next command, when you say commit, and that's when you also give a message. It says initial commit. You could say something like this. This is the first commit of code from the FTC camp, or something that will remind you what that is. The first commit is usually something like this, right? This initial commit, or you can say the default SDK without any custom code. You could give it any description. So at this point, one more word of advice from somebody who's been working in the software industry for a couple of decades. Do not give messages which are not very helpful. Please take the time to write a message there which will help the next person. Remember, it's not just you, it's somebody who did not write that message that needs to understand what you're saying. So you can use enough descriptive words to say what you did. It could be something like added code that moves the servo, or it could be added code that fixes how the mechanism drive was moving, or fix the issue with mechanism drive going the opposite way, or something like that, which should be meaningful to the person who reads it. So that command git commit -m. So when you add, okay, let me take a step back for that add thing. Add is something that you do to files which you have created newly, which have never been added to the repository yet. And since this whole FTC SDK controller folder has all these files and folders which have never been added yet, that's why you're doing the add current directory. And then once that's done, you need to write the commit command, and that's what commit is. So commit is when you're adding all of that into this idea of repository locally, you're adding it and giving a message of what you did. And then push, which is the last command in that list, what that does is it pushes your current folder from your local machine to origin main. So that last command is what pushes all the source that you have locally to GitHub, which is in the cloud. Okay. So after this, as we keep going through, you will not be doing this command line. In your IDE, you're just going to commit and push, commit and push. And then you'll also be doing pull, which is the similar action as push, but the opposite direction. You're getting code from the cloud. That would be pull. So this is a one-time thing you do for each new repository. And going forward, you'll be using commit and push through your IDE, which is Android Studio. So if anyone has questions on what you saw here, please ask now, because we want to make sure you also have a decent level of understanding of what's happening.
I'm a little confused about the file.
Okay.
How does it know which file I'm trying to do?
Right. So when you say add and then dot, that dot means current directory. So it's adding everything that's under the current directory.
How do I
So-
add stuff to the code?
So when you unzip FTC SDK controller, right, you ended up with your unzipped subfolders. So all those are getting added by that command. Now, let's say you had already done the initial commit and add, and let's say you just added a new single file. In that case, you would give the path to the file and give the name of the file instead of dot. So that dot is something you would do only once, really, which is at the beginning of creating your repository. And anything further along, you would give specific names.
Stupid question.
No, there's no,
What is the name of a file? Like, whatever I named it in my computer.
yes, yes. Oh, and one more thing, and you know, in Java, as you may know, the name of the class that you use has to be the exact name for the file also. In fact, it is case sensitive. So the exact, and typically class names, you want the first letter to be capital, and then you have a regular word, and then if you have a new word, capitalize the beginning of the new word. So the file names have to match the class names in Java. So let's say we added something like move servo.java. Then and let's say we did not want to use Android Studio for committing and pushing, and we want to come back here and do it through command line. In that case, I would say git add and then move servo.java. That way, because that's the only file that I intend to add, since everything is already committed, it would add it and make it ready for commit. So add is a step needed only for new files before you can commit them. So you cannot commit new files without adding them first. So please remember that. You need to add new files before you commit them. And when you do things in Android Studio, even there's going to be situations where you will have to add and then commit. Do you get an option to commit and add at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So there's shortcuts. Yeah, please go ahead.
One more question.
Keep going.
So if I edit my local file that I've already pushed up before,
Yeah.
do I just do push again? Like do like commit and then push?
Yes, commit and push, not add.
Okay.
So yeah, the question was, if you already have a file that was added and committed in the past, and you made some changes to it, and now you want to push that, what do you do? So in that case, you do not need to add again. You simply commit it with a new message, which shows what was your most recent change, and then you push it. Now you don't have to push immediately after committing. So this is one more thing to understand. You may have like 10 different changes that you commit locally, and then you push it once. That's fine. Although it's a little not the best idea, because you want your teammates to get what you committed as soon as possible. And the only time you would do that is, let's say you're in the middle of things, you committed something, but you still have a few things to commit to make sure everything's working together. That's probably one case where you wouldn't push right away. But I would say, as soon as you have something working, if you commit it, also push it. The only time you wouldn't do that is if you want to test a little more or improve things before you make it available to your teammates. Then you wait to push, and you may have a few commits in between. The only bad question is one that's not asked.
Okay.
Okay.
So if I'm working with multiple classes.
Okay.
And how does it know which one I'm committing?
So Git, if you type Git status, so at some point we'll type Git status and show you. Git status shows you how it's able to keep track of what all has changed. So what's going to happen is there's two ways. One, you either know and actually give it the name, or you can type Git status, get the list, and then you type Git commit for those. But then the IDE makes it very easy. So the IDE will easily show you whatever has changed since your last commit. That way you don't have to worry about keeping track. So when you go to the commit tab, which we'll do here or today or tomorrow morning, afternoon, you will see that when you go to the commit tab, it will quickly show you what all has changed, and then you can open it. Okay. So you guys want to continue?
So we were at the add stage. So we'll just do git commit -m, and we'll type in initial commit.
The lowercase m simply means message.
Yeah.
That's the message.
And then we'll,
And you're all encouraged to give a different message. Whatever you want, like
yeah,
comment
you
from.
can put any message you want in between these two quotes. So you can put anything. And we'll just click enter. And it'll give a lot of text. So
It's just telling you what's in the code.
So if you saw a large list of files scroll by, those are all the files that got committed. So just a reminder again, these are all the files that were given to you by first in that first SDK controller package. And there's a particular location, which is where you'll start adding your custom code so that when the Android app is built up and pushed to your control hub, it'll then include your new code.
okay. So and now we have the final command, which will be git push excuse me -u origin main. Enter. And this will also, yeah. So everyone right now should see like a prompt that tells them to log in. And if it tells you username and password, we'll cover that in a bit. But if it gives you like a pop-up to log in on the website, you can go do that. So just a reminder, if it says username and password, just don't go past there, just wait there for us. And if it shows you a web browser, just log in and raise your hand.
Will you repeat the command?
Sorry, what did you say?
Will you repeat the command?
So the command is git push -u origin main.
Just highlight that.
Yeah. I can put in the chat as well. All right. So if anybody sees the username option and the password option, just let us know.
So can you go back to see the screen, see the exact. I remember working on that.
It is saying, when I enter that in, it says fatal. Origin does not appear to be a Git repository, could not read from remote repository. Please make sure you have the correct access rights and the repository exit.
So number was it made clear that the path they use in the command should be what they copied from GitHub?
Can you share your screen real quick?
Sure. There you go.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Can you type in git remote and origin? So git space remote
Remote
space origin. Yeah, enter.
Okay.
Here, let's see. Can you do? Can you type in? Let's see. Type in git pull.
Pull?
Pull, yeah. No, PULL.
Oh, okay.
Can you type in git remote? Remove?
Wait, remove or remote?
Remote and then space remove,
Oh, okay.
space origin. Oh, what to do?
Oh, okay. Remote,
Origin.
remove, or
So you did that, right? Get remote.
Okay, that makes sense. So can you head back to your GitHub page?
I what?
Your GitHub page and copy that URL
Okay.
and go back to the terminal.
Say that again.
Go back to the terminal to git bash.
Okay.
And type in git remote add origin and enter that URL. Just right click. Yep, click enter. All right, and now type in git push -u. Oh, git push -u origin main.
Space main.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yep.
Enter.
Enter. There you go. Okay, so there should be a window there.
Yeah, if you look at the
Yeah,
little window
go
that
to the-
popped up right behind, yeah.
Yeah, and sign in with your device. Sign in with your browser, sorry.
With your browser.
There you go, and just follow these steps. Click authorize.
Okay.
And you can close this now and open up Git, and it should be working. Yep, there you go.
Is there anyone else on
It
Zoom
worked.
who needs help, or have they all succeeded? And you'll know if you succeeded by going back to your GitHub page. If you can reload that page, you should see that suddenly there's a whole bunch of code available under that repository. That's when you know it worked.
Wait, no, you want to try and go? Or what's going on? It's like so weird. It's just like trying to.
That's still the same here. So if you can scroll up and show.
Yeah, everything seems to be working. Thanks.
Oh, I think that might be.
Yeah, all right, that's good.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
Oh, okay. So,
Okay, so.
alright,
it's
so I
giving error
guess.
403 on GitHub. I had that issue a while back where it keeps returning 403 for no reason. And it tells you that access is denied. And then but I encountered that on a web browser.
Hey.
That was just forcing.
Alright, so I think you have to do, wait, let me check something really quick. Yeah, I think you forgot to do git branch -m main. So basically, I'll put it in the chat for you. Yeah, so
Yeah, it's just that when
branch
it tries to
name. Yeah, so May, you can see I sent something in the chat. Just like copy that command and put it into your terminal and press enter.
Yeah, when I was using the browser.
Yeah, okay, all right. Now you can do the oh yeah, now you can do git space add space dot.
Edges.
Yes, so git space add, yeah, and then space dot, and then press enter. Okay, all right. Are you on a admin account? Yeah, are you on an admin account? Is-
Okay, now.
important.
Should I change it back to private?
Norman, May is having some issues.
It's a tiny computer.
Yeah, so, okay, now if you can please retry that.
You can just press the up arrow and then get enter. Yeah, it gives you the X, let's see access.
Oh, okay, all right. I think I see why. So, can you do CD? Or, all right, did you download the FTC SDK?
Okay, so right now you have to.
Yes, I did it on the create new.
Okay, okay, all right. Okay, all right. So, so you're gonna want to type CD space downloads with a capital D. Yeah, and then press tab. Let's just, yeah. Just press tab. Okay, all right. All right, now, all right, just do like a slash then. Yeah, all right, now press enter. All right, so now, type CD space FTC. I think capital F, yeah, sorry, yeah, I think it's capital F. Yeah. Just the F is capital and then TC lowercase.
Capital F, lowercase TC.
Yeah, capital F, lowercase TC. Yeah, all right, now press tab. Okay, I guess.
Wait, tab?
Yeah, for some reason it's like tab is not working.
Okay, then just backspace everything and please type dir. Let's see what folders are there. Wait, why are we doing this in command prompt? This should be done in git bash, right?
Oh, that's wrong. Yeah, okay, all right. Okay, all right, close. All right, I think we found the issue. Just close this window. Yeah. Then open up git bash.
So you, yeah, hit the Windows button and then type git.
It's so all right, just click on like your Windows icon in the bottom left. Yeah, and then type git. All right, and then you can see the second one, git bash. Click on that. Yeah, all right. All right, now you're gonna want to type CD space and then downloads with a capital D. And you can probably, I think you can press tab now.
And
Yeah,
then you
okay,
can,
now
right
press.
here, you can have a capital F.
Yeah, so
After slash, capital F.
all right, now, all right, it's fine. Yeah, now just press type CD space capital F, and then yeah, and then press tab. Oh, I guess. Okay, all right, just backspace. Yeah, just backspace like back to the F. And I click. Oh yes, and then yeah, just type FTC and then capital R. Capital R.
Tab should work.
No, they have like some other files.
Oh, okay. Capital R as in.
Robot. Yeah, and then now you should be able to press tab.
FTC controller.
FTC robot controller. Did you press tab?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now I could just type robot. So like, yeah, or All right,
Wait,
so
can you
if-
please open a Windows Explorer window? Please open a Windows Explorer window and then let's go to downloads and make sure we have. Okay, and then. So we do not, do you know where you downloaded the FTC SDK controller.zip file?
And it didn't, I didn't even bother changing the.
Oh, I did not.
So yeah, you need that file to proceed from this step.
Oh.
So you can go back and see the chat. Or let's copy it and send it again.
I think I'm aiming for a nice book of works, that's why I'm sort more. I've read that. Is it nice?
So we just sent a link once again in the chat. So please go to that location. And then when you do that, you're going to see a page that says, yeah, actually, if you click on it, we can show you how that works.
Yeah, we'll.
Okay, so if you please scroll down, the third of those 4 files, it says source code zip. Please click on that. Well, no, lower in the, yeah, source code zip. Please click on that. And then it should be under downloads. So if you can. So yeah, right click and extract. Extract here. Was it? Oh, that was WinRAR that unzipped it. Okay, then please do right click and then extract to. Yeah, the last, yeah, extract to that option. Yeah. And now, okay, now you're good. So now if you go back to command prompt and hit tab, it should fill up. Perfect. And then please hit enter. And then you'd have to follow all the commands which were shown. So if you stop sharing, we'll. So Ron, can you take over here? Had you already created the. Right. So had you already created the repository in GitHub? She did, okay. All right. So if you can help with the rest. So it is 4 o'clock. At this point, I think some of you have managed to successfully push the code and some of you are still trying to do that. If you're still trying to, you can stay on and watch the steps as we do this for everyone.
Could you download the FTC system?
So if you're done with pushing the code, so if your push command worked, you're free to leave for today, and we'll pick up tomorrow morning. And for tomorrow morning, we are going to start working on the code right away. So if Git is not working, that is okay. You can go back, look at the instructions, and follow that and get it back to working. But tomorrow we'll make sure that right from the beginning we start working on code. And if you have Git working, you will just hit push. If you don't have Git working, that's okay. You will still have a chance to see all the code working.
And go to your profile. Okay, all the code seems to be working. I'm gonna go.
Okay, all right, yeah. So whoever was able to push, you're free to leave. Thank you so much. We'll see you again at 1 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. And everyone else who was trying to still finish that up, Ron, can you pull up this so that they see the commands that need to be run?
Yeah.
I think you were supposed to. You just have to close it over.
All right. Sorry, just a second. Yeah. Okay. Here you go. Wait. Yeah. Here we go. All right. So. Yeah, so these are the things that need to be run. So, yeah. All right. So yeah, okay. So May, for you, I think I'll ask you to share your screen because I think there's a couple steps that you still need to do before you can get to this point. So yeah, if you can share your screen, I can help you out with that.
All three of you are good to go? So Raman, what is happening with Angela's sound?
Oh, yeah, I have to delete it.
May, if you could share your screen, that way I would be able to like help you out because there's a couple of steps you have to do before you get to these ones.
Actually, you need to unshare yours first.
You can stop sharing.
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. I forgot, sorry.
So if you get the personal access token, definitely copy it and keep it somewhere.
Okay, all right, great. So, yeah, sorry, so perfect. So now, just backspace what you have typed there. Yeah, in your git bash window, like where it says COMN, just back, yeah, now type git space init. Yeah, and space INIT. Yeah, now press enter.
Don't give it turn.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, now you're gonna want to type git remote add origin. Yeah.
Is it that one?
Yes, perfect. Yeah, that one. Now press enter. Yeah, now the git branch minus m main. I think it's in the chat. Yeah, it's yes, that one. So yeah, now press enter. All right, now you're gonna want to type git space add space dot. Yes, now press enter. Yeah, okay, that's perfect. All right, now and finally you're gonna want to type git commit minus m. So all right, wait, let me actually share my screen again. Or actually, oh yeah, and then all right, wait, no space, just like backspace one, and then click n, lowercase m.
Right URL was given for remote.
It was, yeah. Yeah, all right, and then space. And then quote, like do one quotes. Yeah, just type like a quotation, yeah, and then type initial commit. Yeah, and then close, yeah, perfect. And then now press enter. All right, and then now the final step is git space push space minus u space origin space main. I think minus lowercase u, yeah, and then origin and then main. Yeah, perfect. And then press enter. And then now if you go, yeah, perfect. That's perfect. So now, yeah, click sign in with your browser. All right, I think it should. Did that open up any window or anything like that in your browser? Did it open up a new window or a new tab or something? Oh.
Is there another browser?
That's a little bit weird.
Maybe it's, I think it's the GitHub button. I mean, this.
Oh, okay. If you see like you're in your open windows, do you see like the purple thing? Yeah, I think it's
No, that's GitHub
that's
desktop.
not it. That's not, yeah, you can close that.
What's this? I don't know what that is. That looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the word saying good job very well. That will go.
Okay. Wait, Norman, do you want to help with this? So basically, we got like the log. Should we click like login with
We're in
browser?
browser authentication, but we don't know where the browser is.
Yeah, we don't know where it is. All right. I think.
See, this pink isn't good. But that one is, but it's not showing up.
I'm not really sure. That's a little bit weird. Yeah, just try and like look through all your windows.
All your
tabs.
open windows and see if there's a GitHub page that isn't the one. This is human browser window. Because there's nothing else that's the browser. What if you can wait? Ask her to hit Control C and then
All right, click Control C.
Okay, and then do it again.
Yeah, just, yeah, click enter again.
Well, open a browser. Oh, press sign in with the
Yeah, yeah,
browser.
press it again, yeah.
No, actually, they want us.
I think
That's,
something's wrong with the default browser.
that is,
setting.
all right, all right, then in that case, should we try like the other way?
Generating a token manually.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, it opened. Wait,
Oh, okay.
no, that's just Chrome. That's just Chrome's what's needed.
all right, go back to your git bash, yeah, just,
Control C
yeah,
again,
Control C again.
and then run the command again.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
said you wanted to do something with me, like after the call or something?
oh, yeah, Andrew, yeah, I'll talk to you about that in just a second. Oh, yeah, now click enter. All right, so now
Sign in
click
with the
on,
code.
yeah, sign in with a code.
Wait, that's not it. There was a token. Oh, wait, no, that works. That works.
Yeah,
Now click the link.
yeah, click that link. Oh, yeah, so yeah, first, yeah, good job. Copy that
And then
and
click
go
on the
for the
link.
link. And just copy, and just paste it.
Paste it. Control V.
Yeah, and then continue.
Continue. All right, click, scroll down.
Yeah,
And then click authorize. Yeah.
perfect. Okay, all right, perfect. You should be good to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, yeah, you should be good to go.
There
You're
you
the right
go.
spot.
It's pushing.
All right, perfect. All right, so now, Andrew, I'll talk to you. So when do you want to set up like a second session to talk about like installing Git on your computer? Like, when would that work for you?
Tell him you can either do that later today or.
Yeah, we can either do it like today, like later today, or we can do it tomorrow morning too.
That's the homebrew and all that, right?
Yeah.
So Harry, when do you guys have time?
And May, you're free to leave any point you want. You're in a good spot now. Yes. Andrew, I was gonna ask you again, do you want to set up a session later today or tomorrow morning?